Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show, training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse, Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Liberty jumping to music with our horses who are our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles course. Sadie doing obstacles without rein control. Training miniature zebu bull Rusty to pull and implement. Eve continues her training in bridleless riding and spins.
Rosie is riding Firecrest Easter Eve, my 9-year-old. This is going to be a review session where we're going to remind Eve how to respond to our requests for bridleless riding. You see that Eve does have a snaffle bit and a bridle and yacht rope reins, but we're going to use them only when necessary. We're going to use body language. We're going to have the fence help us at first. We're going to use white arm extensions if we need them. And we're going to be using the principles of teaching bridleless riding that coincidentally were reviewed in a rerun just yesterday on RFD TV by Clinton Anderson. So I'm going to be explaining to Rosie so that she'll remember, because she's done this before, but it's been a while, and to you, as you view the Urban Cowgirl Show about this topic, what we're doing. Now, right now, we're just making sure that Eve is flexible, soft, light, and she is. Right along the fence, Rosie.
Oh. Okay.
Oh. And then, as you get to a corner, you remember you go deep into the corner. As soon as you get there and you want to turn, at a 90-degree angle, you look very clearly and maybe even point with the inner arm in the direction that you want her to go. You don't have the white sticks in your hand. We don't want to use them. We want to use as few aids as we can, but if we need to, we'll pick them up. Okay. So tell us what you're doing, and we'll watch and see how Eve does it. A big part of bridleless riding is focus from your horse. Needs to focus on what you're asking for. There you go. Rosie was pointing. Yes. Now, if Eve picks up speed, you can do a small circle to slow her down.
Steady. Good girl. Good girl. Good. Good girl.
Deep into the corner. Obvious body language. Focus.
I'm going out this way.
Okay, now she's going to remove the aid of the fence to see if we can get, we had a little bit of misunderstanding. No. Okay, and then you see when Eve kind of threw up her head, that means she was getting stressed, didn't understand. She wants to please us.
Good girl.
Good.
Well, this way. Steady. Steady.
I'll leave it up to Rosie whether or not she wants to use an escalation of aids, if she wants to use the white arm extensions, or she just, through repetition, small steps, wants to explain to Eve with her body language, her voice,
Good girl.
her reward.
Steady walk. Good girl.
Misunderstanding.
Yeah, I guess I'll try using the sticks.
All
I
right.
know you'd rather I use them than the reins.
Yes. Although eventually, just leaving the reins there and picking them up once in a while, but not quite as often as we've had to pick them up. So I'm going to stop the camera and give you the sticks, then we'll start again. Okay, now we've got our arm extensions on.
Back.
Rosie's using visual
Back.
block,
Back.
voice commands,
Back.
body language, pressure.
That's all right.
There you go.
Step up. Good girl.
She's heading towards that corner. If she has any problems, I'll let you know. No problem whatsoever. Rosie is very specific, very obvious with her requests for speed and direction. And the arm extensions so far seem to be helping. Now, when the horse is doing what you want, you have to remember to pick up the arm extensions. Only when you're giving guidance to your horse to do something different do you use your arm extensions as a visual block or even as a tap. Clinton Anderson emphasized that even if you tap them on the side of their face or on their shoulder or on their neck, it can be used as an escalation of aids.
Girl.
Okay, now she's speeding up, which is totally expected. Yes, you just change direction, serpentine, little circles.
She sped up because I was asking her to change direction.
Exactly, and he brought that up again on his rerun show yesterday. The same thing was happening to his youngster. He said she just doesn't understand yet. He's using leg pressure to ask for change of direction, and she's thinking she's supposed to speed up. So he just kept making small circles when that happened.
I feel like this, maybe I'm totally wrong, but I feel like that would happen more often with a horse that was initially trained in Western riding style, because they're just not as used to leg pressure, being used for different things. Maybe. I mean, just like in general, they don't have as much constant leg pressure, so they're more sensitive to it. I'm not sure.
Well, for people just like us, bringing your thoughts to the surface like that is helpful. We'll see with time, with repetition, whether your supposition is correct.
Steady walk. It's all right.
My observation is those arm extensions are helping a lot right now. Do you agree?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I could get the same effect by picking up the reins. But, no, they're nice to use. They're fun to use. I like them.
When Alexis was working with Sadie yesterday on this exercise, Alexis found the arm extensions to be a burden in her hand. She wanted to do things other ways and use her hands other ways.
Like how?
Actually she wanted to pick up the reins rather than use the arm extension.
Well, that's how I felt, that's kind of how I feel also. But, I guess I've just gotten more used to it,
Right.
I felt even more strongly that way at first. But, I guess maybe because I've gotten used to them, they don't feel as awkward now. They're sort of strange to use. It's sort of weird to be holding anything while you're on a horse's back that's not reins or a rope, I guess.
Right. And that was Alexis's first time doing this exercise when she was riding Sadie, so it was extremely strange. But they were useful, and then she showed us some other ways she'd like to get the same message across, which is just fine as long as the message gets transmitted. Okay, now she's looking really good. Now try to do some diagonals or, cut the circles. That's the hard part, is going away from the fence, because you no longer have the aid of the fence.
Good girl. Good, Eve. That was really nice. Good girl.
This is so much fun, this kind of exercise. It's so nice to know you're getting away from reins and bits and bridles rather than relying on them.
Good girl. No.
She's going deep into the corners, as you see. She's looking where she wants to go, and Eve is understanding by just feeling Rosie's body language. Speed control. Yes. Yes, very nice. Yep. Intonation of voice, choice of words, all of those things together made Eve realize that speeding up at that moment was not the right answer. The visual blocks are definitely a pressure that will explain to your horse that what you want. And then the removal of the visual blocks helps the horse to understand that they've given you the right answer. There you go. Very nice. Very nice. I'm going to stop the camera for a minute, and I'm going to bring a portable panel to 90 degrees of this white vinyl fence. And I'll show you how it's going to help us be a training aid for spins.
Good girl.
All right, we now have our tools for teaching the spin, the basics of the spin. One is a simple cone, and each horse reacts differently. Now, is Eve going to be light and flexible, soft, doing a railroad track circle around the cone? Okay, we're going to try to get Eve a little bit softer here about going into these small circles. We're using reins right now. We don't feel we're ready to do this with arm extensions and reinlessly. Good. She stepped over. Could you tell?
Yep. I just tried to.
We may not even need the panels and the fences. Eve's been pretty good about it. Yes! Mm-hmm. Yeah, each horse has its pluses and minuses. Eve has always been pretty responsive to our request for the proper spin. We got about half a turn there. That one, she didn't quite plant her back feet. Mm-hmm. And if they use too much back foot when they're going around, well, then we call that bottle topping. If we have too much stepping with the back feet, we want those back feet to plant. When we see horses doing the spin, they're nice. They're really down on their haunches.
I'm gonna try sitting back more than see if I can.
And then watch that. You don't want any shoulder bulging or hips falling in. That will wreck your spin as well. A lot to think about.
It's hard because she's already, if we're doing this a correct, like, small circle, she'll already be pretty bent, but we don't want her to be bent when we're doing
it's all right to be bent. Not too bent, though. I mean, because, then she won't be able to pick up speed if we choose to ask for it.
Right, but that's the point of doing a small circle, is that they're really bent.
Yes, but then when they choose to plant their back feet, they continue with a slide arc to spin around them.
Right, that's the hope.
She just stepped up 2. And what that meant was you lost forward impulsion for a second or two. her outside foot stepped up to her inside foot. Even if you just step one over and walk out, if you get them, yes, now walk out, right. If you get them used to walking out, they're not going to ruin the form with their front feet. Even if it's only one step over or two, they'll realize that they need to keep stepping over, either forward or in lateral. She's good. She's good at about a half a turn. And maybe that's all we want to go for today. I'm going to let that call be up to you.
I'm going to try it a couple more times.
Yes, nice crossover.
Nice. I feel like the fence is sort of getting in my way when I go too deep into that corner.
Well, then let's go out to the middle of the arena. Whatever works.
I feel like she's good enough at making small circles at this point. She kind of knows what we're doing, and maybe don't need the panel quite as much.
Little bit of bottle topping.
She's still not as soft as I'd like her to be.
And certainly probably stiffer on one side than the other, but
Yeah, very much
we
so.
expect that. Round and round and round. Yes, she almost bottle topped, then she planted those back feet and over went her front feet in the right position. Yeah, and if you keep walking out, she'll understand that forward motion or that forward impulsion is important. But then, as we train her to do this with repetition, she'll understand that the forward impulsion in the lateral direction is what is the right answer. Okay, only the second one was a step over. There was a lack of forward impulsion for a few seconds.
Yeah, I could feel it.
All of this gets done ultimately, yes, one-handed, of course. So neck reining becomes very important.
And I was trying the neck reining just to try something different, see if that helped. And I feel like it helps a little. Keeps her more straight, which is just because a little bit of pressure on each side of her mouth. And it helps her also, I think, not move forward until I want her to, because this having pressure on each side helps her realize more. I don't know, she's pretty good for lateral. I know it's a lot to do.
It is.
Oh, hang on, I feel like we're doing a little too much.
Right. So you asked for something that she's good at, right? Like lateral flexion, back ups.
No, she's doing that on her own. She that's her way.
Yes, they're saying, well, what do you want from me? Yes.
She doesn't know. Hey, give me your head. There, that's much better. Back. Okay. You good? Try this a couple more times.
It is a challenging feeling, isn't it? You want to be able to do it all the way around. And we will one of these days. Yeah, bottle topping.
I didn't ask her for that at all.
Yeah. She was anticipating when they do something that you don't ask for, then you ask them to do just the opposite, according to Clinton Anderson.
Bottle topping. Yep. Wait, What is bottle topping?
That's when they're moving around with their back legs. That's
just a term for like turning on the forehand. It's something,
It's when, exactly. It's actually you're trying to get them to plant their back legs and ask them to go around their haunches, but instead they go around in that direction by moving the back legs, stepping up and down and moving them. Yes, you want them to pivot over those back legs and not step up and down with them. And when you watch a reining spinner, they actually always use one leg in the back as the pivot point. And I've heard trainers say they don't care which leg, but I've also heard trainers say they like the inside back to be the pivot. Good. Even if you just go back to serpentines, whatever she's comfortable, if you feel her starting to get stiff, that's okay. Go back to something she knows. Stop on a good note of any sort. And no, bottle topping, did you know what I mean now?
No, I know. I could feel it before. I just didn't. I mean, I knew in my mind, like, I just call it turning on the forehand because it's like a separate movement that you sometimes want to have them do.
Right, yes, but not when you're doing a reining spin.
No. Hey. No. Don't do it unless I ask you to.
She didn't plant the back, could you tell?
Yeah. Now, I'm trying to use different cues, not with my reins, but with my legs and with my weight when I don't want her to do it, because I really would hate for her to get into the habit of every time I like ask her to turn, she spins. I think that'd be pretty awful. So when I'm just wanting her to walk in a circle, I don't want her to swing in. So I'm using a lot of inside leg to try to get her to curve her body around my leg.
Absolutely, and then close the door. If you do want her to spin, open that inside leg, close the outside leg against her body.
And this is what we've been doing, for days now. This is what to work on getting her,
That was a good step over.
Yeah.
She's bottle topping a little bit, but she did give you the step over. She doesn't quite understand yet that her back legs are supposed to pivot. Plant themselves and pivot over them. Now, according to Ken McNabb, if you keep doing smaller and smaller circles, she'll ultimately choose to pivot. Yes, she just did. She chose to pivot.
Yeah.
Because it's easier on her to keep those back legs planted and step over with the front legs as long as she gets the understanding that she's to continue with forward motion in the lateral direction. Oh, and the hop, although it used to be okay, is no longer accepted.
Why?
So, I don't know. I'm not sure. We don't want that hop, and that hop generally comes from stopping the forward motion. You're getting the lateral motion, and then they hop over.
Good girl.
That, that did not flow with forward motion. She almost gave you a spin, but it was almost with a stop.
But she didn't stop, and so I felt like it was still pretty good. No.
Yeah, that was bottle top. So the other ways we've taught her to do this is with serpentines, yes, or a little bit of a hop though. Bends and sends. I've even seen it done with back up and step over, but I don't like the back up method because it tends to encourage lack of forward motion.
Well, it is what we used with Semi.
And maybe Semi was one of the first horses I taught the reining spin to, and I was trying every single method that I learned on RFD, and then whatever worked with whatever horse is the method I continued to do. We are going to work Semi next, not today, but in our next session, and we'll see. We'll see what works best with her. That was better. She's flowing more smoothly. I think if you do a few more railroad track circles before you ask for it, you're more likely to get that planting of the back legs. As small as you can.
I need to stay farther away from you also. She associates that corner with not working.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good girl.
That was good.
Good.
Yeah, that was good. Better, yes, much better. All right, so we're going to quit soon?
Yeah.
All right.
I think she's probably...
Yeah, we want to quit
done
on a
her
good note. Eve has certainly a lot more attention span than she used to. Last year, we can work with her longer without getting her frustrated and stiff. So we always make sure we quit on a good note, but give her enough repetition, and who knows, next lesson, it might all come together for her.
St. Shadrach Stables at Midmore Farms. Sadie and Eve. Semi. Rusty and Susie. www.thesocolos.com